Audio Flair.
The power of seduction. Imagine possessing an almost magical ability to captivate anyone, drawing them into your world, making them hang on your every word, and leaving them powerless to resist your influence. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene isn't just about romance, it's about power, control, and the ability to shape desires. This book unveils the hidden forces behind human attraction, showing you how to wield them to your advantage. Welcome to the most intoxicating game of all, seduction. Chapter 1. The Siren. The siren is the embodiment of fantasy and desire, a figure who pulls others in with an irresistible aura of sensuality and mystery. Throughout history, figures like Cleopatra and Marilyn Monroe have perfected this art, using their voice, body language, and presence to captivate and control. The siren understands that anticipation and suggestion are more powerful than overt sexuality. She embodies the ideal escape from the mundane, offering a world of pleasure that is impossible to resist. Mastering the siren's art requires careful cultivation of an alluring presence, choosing the right clothing, tone of voice, and movements that suggest both accessibility and untouchability. The siren creates an atmosphere where admirers feel transported into a realm of heightened emotions and sensory indulgence. However, she must be cautious. Overuse of her power can make her seem too dangerous, evoking fear rather than desire. The most successful sirens balance their magnetism with a touch of mystery, never allowing themselves to be fully possessed. A true siren understands the psychology of attraction. She knows that people crave what they cannot fully have, and she plays on this by being both available and distant. She offers glimpses of passion, but never complete surrender. This tantalizing mix of seduction and elusiveness keeps admirers in a state of longing, ensuring that they remain enthralled. The siren uses every tool at her disposal, her voice, her scent, her gaze, to create an irresistible pull. She speaks in a way that lingers in the mind, her tone rich with warmth and promise. Cleopatra was a master of this technique. She did not simply rely on her beauty. She surrounded herself with an atmosphere of luxury and exoticism. When she seduced Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony, it was not just her physical appeal that captivated them, but the entire world she created around herself. She was an experience, a fantasy made flesh. Marilyn Monroe similarly cultivated an image of softness and vulnerability that drew men in, making them want to protect and possess her. But being a siren is not without its dangers. Siren must be careful not to become too dependent on her allure, lest she be discarded once the novelty wears off. Many sirens have found themselves cast aside when their admirers move on to new conquests. To maintain power, the siren must continually reinvent herself, keeping the mystery alive. She must always leave something to the imagination, ensuring that she remains forever unattainable, forever desired. The siren's power lies in her ability to create an emotional and sensory high, an addiction that her admirers cannot shake. She stirs up powerful emotions, making ordinary life seem dull by comparison. Her touch, her words, her very presence become intoxicating. Those who fall under her spell will do anything to keep her in their lives, even at great cost to themselves. This is the ultimate power of the siren, to make herself the center of another's world, their most exquisite obsession. Chapter 2. The Rake. The rake is the male counterpart to the siren, a figure who intoxicates women with his relentless pursuit and uninhibited passion. He makes his target feel as if she is the only woman in the world, showering her with flattery, excitement, and devotion. Unlike the siren, who is passive and alluring, the rake is aggressive and bold, making his intentions clear from the start. Women secretly long to be seduced with reckless abandon, and the rake fulfills this fantasy. Figures like Lord Byron, Casanova, and Don Juan have embodied this archetype throughout history, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts. The rake's success lies in his ability to make his target feel desired in a way no one else has. His words are poetry. His gaze lingers just long enough to hint at hidden depths, and his confidence makes him irresistible. However, the rake must be careful not to appear insincere. Women can sense when they are just another conquest, and if the rake becomes too predictable, he loses his charm. The key to sustaining the rake's allure is unpredictability, disappearing just long enough to make his target crave his presence again, then returning with even greater intensity. A skilled rake knows how to create an illusion of deep connection, making his target believe that she is the only one who truly understands him. He shares personal stories, paints himself as misunderstood or tragic, and invites his target into his emotional world. This makes his seduction feel more like destiny than manipulation. The downfall of the rake is that his passion often burns too brightly and fades too quickly. Many rakes move on from one conquest to another, leaving devastation in their wake. For a rake to maintain his power, he must balance his intensity with an air of mystery, never letting his target feel completely secure in his love. Chapter 3. The Ideal Lover. Most people go through life carrying unfulfilled dreams, fantasies of romance, adventure, and deep emotional connection that reality often fails to provide. The ideal lover is the master of fulfilling these dreams, becoming the embodiment of what their target craves most. Unlike the siren, who overwhelms the senses, or the rake, who ignites reckless passion, the ideal lover is a mirror, reflecting their target's deepest desires and making them feel seen and understood like never before. Casanova and Madame de Pompadour were historical masters of this art. They didn't merely seduce their targets into fleeting affairs, they made them fall in love. Casanova, for instance, studied his lovers intensely, picking up on their insecurities, dreams, and longings. He then adapted himself to be the perfect match, making each woman feel uniquely special. The ideal lover operates by identifying the void in their target's life and filling it. This means keen observation, paying attention not just to what someone says, but to what they don't say. It's in the blush on their cheek, the distant look in their eye, the wistful sigh when discussing lost ambitions. The ideal lover picks up on these cues and weaves an enchanting illusion, presenting themselves as the person who can make their dreams come true. To be an ideal lover, one must master the arts of patience and subtlety. Unlike the rake, who aggressively pursues, the ideal lover allows their target to come to them, gently pulling them in with their charm and attentiveness. They create a sense of destiny, making their target believe that they were meant to meet, that their connection is rare and precious. One of the key traits of an ideal lover is their ability to elevate love beyond the physical. Their seduction feels spiritual, artistic, even intellectual. They are not just about sex, they are about deep emotional connection. This makes their seduction last longer and resonate more profoundly. However, the ideal lover must be careful not to let their illusion crumble. Once their target sees through the fantasy, the magic is lost. To sustain their power, they must keep the air of mystery alive, always giving just enough, but never too much. The moment they become too available, their allure diminishes. In a world full of disappointments, the ideal lover offers something rare: hope. They make life feel more romantic, more adventurous, more meaningful. They transform the mundane into the extraordinary, and in doing so, they become unforgettable. Chapter 4. The Dandy. The dandy is the master of nonconformity and self-invention, an individual who defies societal expectations and captivates with their unique style, wit, and confidence. Unlike the rake or the siren, whose seduction is overtly sexual, the dandy's power lies in their aura of mystery and detachment. They seduce by standing apart from the crowd, making themselves the object of fascination and imitation. Historically, dandies like Oscar Wilde, Beau Brummel, and Rudolph Valentino have wielded immense seductive power through their androgynous charm and effortless style. They blur traditional gender roles, making themselves alluring to both men and women. Valentino, for instance, had a delicate, almost feminine beauty that drove women wild. His mix of sensitivity and masculinity made him irresistible. Dandies create their own rules. They reject societal conventions and live according to their own aesthetic principles. This defiance makes them intriguing, as they represent freedom from the mundane. People, feeling trapped by societal norms, are drawn to the dandy's world of elegance and rebellion. One of the dandy's key weapons is their ability to remain elusive. They never reveal too much about themselves, keeping admirers guessing. This sense of mystery fuels desire. People project their fantasies onto them, making them even more alluring. The dandy does not chase. They are the one being pursued. Dandies also understand the power of style. Unlike the siren, whose appeal is overtly sexual, the dandy seduces through their unique aesthetic, be it in fashion, mannerisms, or speech. Their appearance is always carefully curated to set them apart, making them instantly recognizable. They are trendsetters, effortlessly influencing those around them. However, the dandy's power is not just in their appearance, it is in their attitude. They carry themselves with supreme confidence, never seeking validation from others. This nonchalance makes them even more desirable. People want what they cannot have. The dandy's apparent indifference creates a challenge that admirers cannot resist. A key component of the dandy's seduction is their ability to make others feel liberated in their presence. Because they live by their own rules, they inspire others to break free from societal constraints. They make their admirers feel special, as if they have entered an exclusive world where anything is possible. This sense of adventure and uniqueness makes their presence intoxicating. Yet, the dandy must be careful not to alienate themselves completely. While their aloofness is part of their charm, too much detachment can make them seem cold or unapproachable. The most successful dandies balance their mystery with moments of warmth, ensuring that they remain both intriguing and inviting. The dandy is a living work of art, someone who transforms themselves into an object of desire simply by existing outside of conventional norms. In a world that pressures people to conform, the dandy is a breath of fresh air, offering a tantalizing glimpse of a life lived freely and unapologetically. Those who master the art of the dandy understand that true seduction is not about chasing others, but about making others chase you. Chapter 5. The Natural. The natural seducer embodies the qualities of childhood, spontaneity, innocence, playfulness, and vulnerability. They possess an effortless charm that makes people feel at ease and disarmed in their presence. Naturals remind us of a time before responsibilities weighed us down, making them irresistible to those longing for a sense of freedom and joy. A natural's seduction is rooted in authenticity. Unlike other types of seducers who craft elaborate personas, the natural wins people over by being genuinely themselves. However, this is often a carefully maintained illusion. The best naturals are highly aware of their appeal and play into it, exaggerating their youthful energy or childlike wonder to evoke a protective or indulgent response from others. Charlie Chaplin and Josephine Baker were classic naturals. Chaplin's comedic persona evoked laughter and sympathy, making audiences adore him. Baker, on the other hand, projected an untamed energy and playfulness that made her a sensation on the stage and in high society. There are different types of naturals. The innocent. They appear untouched by the world's cynicism, making people feel protective over them. The imp. Mischievous and playful, they charm through their unpredictability. The wonder. They possess a special talent or aura that makes them seem extraordinary. The undefensive lover. Open, accepting, and unashamed of their emotions, they make others feel free in their presence. A skilled natural seducer blends elements of these personas. However, they must be careful not to seem immature or overly dependent, as this can make them appear weak rather than alluring. A successful natural exudes both innocence and confidence, keeping their target enchanted and engaged. Chapter 6. The Coquette. The coquette is a master of delay. They seduce by offering fleeting moments of warmth and intimacy, only to withdraw suddenly, leaving their target in a state of longing. This cycle of hot and cold keeps admirers off balance, ensuring they never feel completely secure in their affections. Unlike other seducers who actively pursue their targets, the coquette creates an air of self-sufficiency, making them seem unattainable. This aloofness is highly seductive, as people naturally desire what they cannot have. Coquettes instinctively understand that humans crave the chase more than the conquest. Historical examples include Josephine Bonaparte, who kept Napoleon obsessed with her through her unpredictability, and Queen Elizabeth thus, who wielded her romantic aloofness as a tool of political power. Coquettes use several techniques. The push-pull effect. They give just enough to keep their target interested, then withdraw to reignite their desire. Inciting jealousy. By paying attention to others, they make their target compete for their affection. Unpredictability. Their moods shift suddenly, keeping their admirers on edge and eager to please. Self-sufficiency. They appear content and independent, making them seem even more desirable. The danger for a coquette is pushing too far. If they withhold for too long, their target may lose patience and move on. The best coquettes know exactly when to re-engage, reigniting desire before it fades. Chapter 7. The Charmer. The charmer's power lies in making others feel good about themselves. Unlike the rake or the siren, who use intense passion, the charmer seduces through social grace, attentiveness, and an ability to put people at ease. Charmers deflect attention from themselves, instead making their targets feel special and admired. Charmers avoid conflict and negativity. They create an atmosphere of pleasure and warmth, ensuring that people enjoy their company and seek them out. Figures like Benjamin Disraeli and Catherine the Great mastered this art, winning over allies and lovers through their charisma rather than aggression. Key traits of the charmer. Attentiveness. They listen carefully, making their targets feel heard and understood. Adaptability. They adjust their approach depending on the person they are seducing. Subtle flattery. They boost their target's self-esteem without being obvious about it. Ease and comfort. Their presence is a refuge from stress, making people crave their company. Charmers must be careful not to seem insincere. Their seduction depends on authenticity. If their target senses manipulation, the charm is broken. A successful charmer remains effortlessly engaging, drawing people in without ever seeming to try too hard. Charmers work their magic in a variety of ways. Some use humor to make others laugh and forget their worries, while others rely on deep, engaging conversations that make their targets feel truly understood. What sets the charmer apart from other seducers is that they rarely make direct demands. People naturally want to please them and seek their company. The best charmers have a disarming quality. They don't push themselves onto others. Instead, they make people feel as though being around them is a privilege. They exude warmth, yet maintain a slight sense of mystery, ensuring that people always crave more of their presence. By making their targets feel special and valued, they create deep emotional bonds that can last a lifetime. Chapter 8. The charismatic charismatics are larger than life. They possess an energy that captivates, inspires, and draws people in. Whether through passion, confidence, or a sense of destiny, charismatics make others feel alive in their presence. Figures like Malcolm X, Eva Peron, and Napoleon Bonaparte harnessed this magnetism, captivating entire crowds with their presence. At the heart of charisma is an aura of mystery. Charismatics often appear both accessible and untouchable at the same time. They project confidence, yet leave people wondering what truly drives them. This duality creates fascination, making others want to be around them, hoping to uncover the secret to their power. There are several key traits that define the charismatic seducer. Self-belief. Charismatics radiate confidence in their ideas and themselves. They never seem to doubt their abilities, and this certainty makes others believe in them too. Passion. They speak and act with intensity, stirring emotions in their audience. Their enthusiasm is contagious, making others feel energized in their presence. Mystery and contradiction. Charismatics often embody contradictions, both intimate and distant, compassionate and ruthless. This makes them unpredictable and intriguing. Theatricality. They understand the power of performance. Their gestures, voice, and expressions are carefully controlled to maximize their impact. Magnetism. Their gaze, presence, and body language create a gravitational pull that draws people in, making them feel as if they are in the presence of someone truly special. Charisma is not necessarily something one is born with. It can be cultivated. Great leaders and seducers throughout history have consciously developed their presence, learning how to command attention and manipulate emotions. They master their body language, their speech, and their ability to evoke strong reactions from those around them. However, charisma is volatile. Just as quickly as people fall under a charismatic spell, they can turn against them. Charismatics thrive in times of uncertainty, offering a vision that others can rally behind. But if they lose their aura of confidence or invincibility, their influence can quickly fade. To maintain their power, charismatics must always keep an air of mystery and purpose. They must make others believe that they are destined for greatness, that their presence alone is enough to change the world. When people believe in their aura, they become willing followers, eager to be part of something greater than themselves. Chapter 9. The star stars captivate us because they embody the dreams and fantasies we secretly hold. They have an aura of mystery, an almost divine presence that makes them feel larger than life. Unlike the charismatic, who radiates raw energy, the star remains distant, allowing admirers to project their desires onto them. This is why movie stars, musicians, and celebrities command such fascination. They are not just individuals, they are symbols, ideas, and fantasies come to life. Stars cultivate an image that lingers in the minds of their admirers. They are careful about what they reveal, choosing to offer glimpses rather than complete transparency. Marilyn Monroe, for instance, perfected the art of the star by maintaining an air of vulnerability and sensuality while never fully revealing her inner world. People felt they knew her, but in reality, she remained an enigma. A key trait of the star is their ability to create distance. They are not easily accessible, and this makes them even more desirable. In relationships, the star never seems too eager or too available. They let others chase them, ensuring that their admirers remain obsessed. They understand that mystery fuels attraction, and they use this to keep people enchanted. However, being a star requires constant reinvention. The danger of being too admired is that people may eventually grow tired of the illusion. Stars must refresh their image, keeping themselves relevant while maintaining their enigmatic allure. If they become too familiar or predictable, their power fades. The best stars create a sense of timelessness. They do not follow trends, they set them. They exist in a realm above the ordinary, making people feel that being close to them is a rare privilege. Their seduction is not about words or actions, but about presence. They make others feel special simply by being in their orbit. Chapter 10. The Anti-Seducer. Just as there are people who effortlessly draw others in, there are also those who repel. The anti-seducer lacks charm, subtlety, and an understanding of human nature. They push people away through their behaviors, making them unattractive without even realizing it. There are different types of anti-seducers. The suffocator. They smother their target with too much attention, making them feel trapped rather than desired. The windbag. They talk endlessly, mostly about themselves, showing no awareness of their audience's interest. The moralizer. They lecture and impose their beliefs, making others feel judged rather than intrigued. The tightwad. Their lack of generosity extends beyond money. They are emotionally closed off and unable to make others feel special. The brute. They are aggressive and forceful, mistaking intimidation for seduction. The insecure. They constantly seek validation, making them more of a burden than an object of desire. Anti-seducers fail because they do not create mystery, excitement, or a sense of longing. They are too predictable, too eager, or too overbearing. They do not understand that seduction is about evoking emotion rather than forcing a reaction. To avoid becoming an anti-seducer, one must develop self-awareness. Pay attention to how others respond to you. If they seem bored, irritated, or eager to escape, you may be exhibiting anti-seductive traits. Instead of focusing on yourself, shift your attention outward. Listen more, observe more, and create intrigue rather than imposing yourself. The best way to handle an anti-seducer is to disengage. Do not argue with them or try to change them. Distance yourself, and they will lose their power over you. True seduction requires subtlety, charm, and an understanding of human psychology, qualities that the anti-seducer completely lacks. Chapter 11. Choose the right victim. The first step in any successful seduction is choosing the right target. Not everyone is susceptible to seduction, and wasting time on the wrong person leads only to frustration and failure. The ideal victim has a psychological or emotional gap that you can fill. They must crave something: adventure, love, validation, or even danger. A happy and content person is difficult, if not impossible, to seduce, while someone longing for change is ripe for the taking. Historically, master seducers like Casanova and Cleopatra carefully selected their targets. They did not pursue those who were indifferent or disinterested, but rather those who displayed an openness to suggestion. The best victims are often those who feel isolated or misunderstood, who long for someone to see them in a new and exciting way. One method to identify the right victim is through careful observation. Look for signs of dissatisfaction, people who sigh when discussing their lives, who express boredom with routine, or who seem drawn to fantasy and escapism. These are the ones who are most likely to respond positively to your seduction. Once you have chosen the right victim, the chase begins. Do not be too obvious in your pursuit. Instead, let them feel as if they are slowly being drawn toward you. The most effective seductions make the victim believe they are in control, that they are the ones pursuing you, even as you guide them along the path you have laid out. Chapter 12. Create a false sense of security. A common mistake in seduction is coming on too strong. If your target senses that they are being seduced, they will put up their defenses. The best seductions begin subtly, creeping into the target's mind without them realizing what is happening. This requires patience and strategy. To create a false sense of security, you must first seem harmless. Avoid overt flirtation in the beginning. Instead, approach indirectly. Become a friend, a confidant, or even someone who seems uninterested in romance. Let the target feel safe in your presence, unaware that they are already falling under your influence. Many successful seductions throughout history have begun this way. For example, courtiers in royal courts would often pretend to be disinterested in their target, cultivating a neutral or even indifferent relationship before slowly turning it into something deeper. This approach works because people are naturally wary of those who seem too eager. By appearing patient and detached, you lower their defenses, making them more receptive to your eventual advances. A key tactic in this phase is using third parties to create opportunities. Instead of directly approaching your target, position yourself within their social circle. Let their friends or acquaintances speak well of you, making you seem more desirable without any effort on your part. People are more likely to be drawn to someone who already has social proof of their value. Once your target is comfortable and unguarded, you can begin to introduce subtle seductions, lingering glances, brief moments of intimacy, or well-timed compliments. Because they feel safe with you, they will not immediately see these actions as part of a larger strategy, allowing you to deepen your influence without triggering resistance. The ultimate goal of this phase is to make your target feel that they are falling for you naturally, that their attraction is spontaneous rather than orchestrated. Once they believe this, they will be far more willing to follow you deeper into the seduction. Chapter 13. Send mixed signals. Seduction is a game of intrigue, and one of the most powerful ways to captivate someone is to be unpredictable. People quickly grow bored of what they understand too well. If you reveal all of your cards at once, their interest will fade. The key to keeping them hooked is sending mixed signals, creating an aura of contradiction and complexity that makes you seem deeper, more fascinating, and impossible to pin down. By alternating between hot and cold, showing interest, and then withdrawing it, you create a sense of mystery. Your target will feel compelled to figure you out, and in the process, they will fall deeper under your spell. This technique plays on the human tendency to desire what is just out of reach. A master seducer like Oscar Wilde understood this principle well. He would be charming and flattering one moment, then distant and aloof the next, leaving his admirers constantly guessing. This air of unpredictability made him irresistible. Similarly, Cleopatra would mix playful flirtation with sudden indifference, keeping powerful men like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony completely enthralled. To use this technique effectively, balance contrasting traits. Be both confident and vulnerable. Show strength, but also moments of softness. Be warm and cold. Draw them in, then pull away just enough to make them crave more. Be mysterious but open. Give hints of your deeper self, but never reveal everything. Be innocent yet knowing. Present an air of purity while suggesting hidden depths of experience. When you send mixed signals, people will begin projecting their fantasies onto you, filling in the gaps with their imagination. This deepens their emotional investment and ensures that their thoughts revolve around you. They will wonder what you truly feel, what you truly want, and in their effort to decipher your signals, they will become obsessed. However, be careful not to push too far. If you confuse or frustrate your target excessively, they may give up. The key is to keep them engaged, offering just enough clarity to sustain their interest while maintaining an aura of mystery. When done correctly, sending mixed signals ensures that you remain an irresistible enigma, always lingering in their thoughts. Chapter 14. Create triangles. One of the most powerful forces in human psychology is competition. We want what others desire, and the fear of losing out to a rival can intensify attraction. This is why creating triangles, introducing a third person into the dynamic, can make you appear infinitely more desirable. People naturally value what is in high demand. If you are seen as someone who is desired by others, your value skyrockets. Instead of chasing after your target, make them feel as if they must compete for your attention. This taps into their vanity and triggers their competitive instincts, making them work harder to win you over. Historical figures like Lou Andrea Salome mastered this tactic. She surrounded herself with admirers, including great thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Paul Rée, making each of them feel as if they had to fight for her affection. This created an intoxicating atmosphere of rivalry, ensuring that all of her suitors remained hopelessly devoted to her. To create effective triangles, surround yourself with admirers, friends, ex-lovers, and interested suitors. Make it clear that you are in demand. Subtly highlight your desirability. Mention past conquests, flirt in the presence of your target, or let them overhear stories of others vying for your affection. Encourage competition. Make your target feel as if winning you is an achievement, something that elevates their status. Use jealousy strategically, but never push too far. If your target feels completely replaced, they may give up rather than fight for you. The key to this technique is subtlety. If you are too obvious in trying to make someone jealous, it can backfire, making you seem manipulative rather than desirable. The best triangles are created naturally, through the careful arrangement of social situations, the suggestion of other romantic interests, and the cultivation of an air of desirability. When done correctly, creating triangles ensures that your target remains fixated on you. They will not only desire you, but also fear losing you, making them more willing to pursue you with passion and urgency. Chapter 15. Stir anxiety and discontent. A perfectly satisfied person cannot be seduced. Contentment breeds stability, and stability resists change. To truly captivate someone, you must first stir within them a sense of restlessness, an awareness that something in their life is missing, incomplete, or stagnant. Seduction thrives in the spaces of dissatisfaction. Master seducers understand this principle well. They know that before a person can be drawn to something new, they must first become disillusioned with their current state. This can be done subtly, through suggestion and contrast. A person who once felt content can be made to question whether their life is as fulfilling as they believed. One way to create this effect is by drawing attention to what is lacking. If your target seems comfortable in their relationship, highlight the excitement of adventure and unpredictability. If they are successful but uninspired, remind them of lost passions and dreams. The goal is not to openly criticize, but to plant a seed of doubt, one that grows over time until they feel an aching void that only you can fill. Historical seducers like Cleopatra and Casanova mastered this art. Cleopatra made men feel as though they had never truly lived until they met her, while Casanova convinced his lovers that their previous relationships had been pale imitations of the passion he could offer. By stirring anxiety and discontent, you position yourself as the answer to their newfound longing. Your presence becomes a solution, a path to fulfillment that they didn't realize they needed until you showed them what was missing. Chapter 16. Master the art of insinuation. Directness can be dangerous in seduction. If you openly state your intentions too soon, your target may resist, putting up defenses against your advances. Instead, true seducers operate through insinuation, planting ideas indirectly, allowing their target to arrive at conclusions as if by their own will. Insinuation is a powerful psychological tool. It works because people are more likely to embrace ideas they believe they have arrived at themselves. Rather than pushing an idea onto someone, you subtly introduce it, letting it take root in their subconscious. This can be done in several ways. The suggestive comment. Drop hints that leave your target curious, making them wonder about your true meaning. The indirect compliment. Rather than directly expressing attraction, remark on qualities that suggest deeper admiration. The subtle comparison. Make your target feel as though they are missing out on something more exciting without outright saying it. The ambiguous gesture. Use body language and fleeting touches to create tension without explicit advances. Historical figures like Napoleon Bonaparte used insinuation masterfully in both romance and politics. By making offhand remarks about his vision and desires, he led people to believe they had discovered great ideas on their own, making them more willing to follow his lead. In seduction, insinuation creates intrigue and anticipation. It makes your target dwell on your words and actions, drawing them into a state of obsession. They will replay your conversations, trying to decipher hidden meanings, and in doing so, they become emotionally entangled without realizing it. Chapter 17. Enter their spirit. Most people are locked inside their own worlds, stubborn and resistant to change. To seduce them, you must first step inside their reality, understanding their desires, emotions, and perspectives as if they were your own. This is the art of entering their spirit. When you mirror someone's thoughts, moods, and tastes, they begin to see you as an extension of themselves. Their defenses lower, and they feel drawn toward you without understanding why. This is because humans are naturally drawn to what feels familiar, what reflects their own identity back at them. Master seducers throughout history have used this technique to disarm and entrance their targets. Ninon de l'Enclos, one of the most legendary seductresses of her time, would adopt the interests and passions of her lovers, making them feel as though they had found a perfect companion who understood them on the deepest level. Entering someone's spirit is not just about imitation, it is about making them feel seen and understood in a way they never have before. When you reflect their values, fears, and longings, they feel an intimate bond with you. They begin to associate you with a rare and special connection, making you indispensable in their lives. The key to mastering this tactic is to become a chameleon. You must observe keenly, listen carefully, and subtly adapt. If your target is intellectual, engage them in deep philosophical discussions. If they are playful, match their energy and humor. If they are melancholic, share their sense of nostalgia and longing. By entering their spirit, you lull them into a sense of security, making them believe they are leading the dance when, in reality, they are following your rhythm. Once their emotional walls are down, you can gently guide them into your world, reversing the dynamic so that they begin to seek your approval and validation. This technique is powerful, but requires patience. If you rush or make it obvious that you are mirroring them, your target may feel manipulated. Instead, move subtly, letting them discover, little by little, just how much you seem to understand them. Before they realize it, they will be deeply entangled in your influence, willing to go wherever you lead them. Chapter 18. Create temptation. Seduction is not about forcing someone to want you. It is about awakening a desire they cannot control. The best way to do this is by creating temptation, offering a glimpse of a world so irresistible that they cannot help but be drawn toward it. Temptation thrives on the forbidden. Humans are wired to crave what they cannot have, and the more you position yourself as something slightly out of reach, the more magnetic you become. Historical seductresses like Bathsheba understood this principle well. She did not pursue King David outright. Instead, she bathed within his view, creating an image that he could not resist. She did not offer herself. She became the forbidden fruit, letting him be consumed by his own desire. To create temptation, you must understand your target's weaknesses and hidden fantasies. Everyone has an unfulfilled longing, a hunger they have not yet satisfied. Perhaps they crave adventure, passion, danger, or validation. Your job as a seducer is to identify this desire and hint that you are the key to fulfilling it. There are several ways to cultivate temptation. Offer a glimpse, never the whole picture. Leave something to the imagination. If you give too much too soon, the fantasy fades. Instead, let them see just enough to stir their curiosity. Be slightly unattainable. Create small obstacles that make them feel they must work for your attention. The more effort they put in, the more valuable you become to them. Stimulate curiosity. Speak in riddles, allude to secrets, or suggest experiences they have never had before. Make them feel as if there is an entire world of excitement waiting for them, if only they step closer. Use absence as a tool. When something is always available, it loses its allure. Disappear at the right moments to increase their longing. Temptation is not about making direct offers. It is about making your target feel that pursuing you is their own choice, their own irresistible urge. The best seductions occur when the target believes they are the one chasing rather than being chased. By carefully crafting the right temptations, you make it impossible for them to resist. They will follow you, not because you ask them to, but because they simply cannot help themselves. Chapter 19. Keep them in suspense. Predictability is the death of seduction. The moment your target feels they can anticipate your next move, your spell is broken. To keep them captivated, you must master the art of suspense, keeping them slightly off balance, making them wonder what will happen next. People are naturally drawn to mystery and uncertainty. A well-crafted seduction plays on this desire, much like a thrilling novel or movie that keeps its audience engaged by constantly introducing new twists and surprises. The seduced must never feel entirely sure of where they stand with you. They should always be asking, what will they do next? How do they really feel about me? One of the greatest historical examples of this technique comes from the story of Scheherazade in 1001 Nights. To save her life, she told the king a different story every night, but she always left it unfinished, ensuring that he would keep her alive one more night just to hear the ending. By the time her storytelling was complete, he was so entranced by her that he had fallen in love. To use suspense effectively in seduction, introduce the unexpected. Do something unpredictable, change your routine, switch moods, or create an air of spontaneity. Keep secrets. Do not reveal too much about yourself too soon. Allow your target to discover things about you gradually, keeping their curiosity alive. Disappear occasionally. Your absence should be just long enough to make them miss you, but not so long that they move on. Use ambiguity. Be vague about your feelings and intentions. Let them wonder whether they truly have your attention, or if they need to work harder to keep you interested. By keeping your target in suspense, you create an emotional roller coaster. One moment they feel close to you, the next they feel uncertain. This tension keeps them engaged and makes your eventual rewards feel even more satisfying. Chapter 20. Mix pleasure with pain. Pure pleasure is never as satisfying as pleasure mixed with a touch of pain. If you are too kind, too giving, or too available, you risk being taken for granted. Instead, you must create an emotional dynamic that includes both highs and lows, making your target dependent on you for both relief and excitement. Humans are wired to respond to contrast. The thrill of seduction comes not just from being adored, but from overcoming obstacles, enduring moments of doubt, and experiencing the relief of reconciliation. By occasionally withholding affection, introducing jealousy, or pulling away at strategic moments, you intensify their emotional attachment. Historical seducers like Cleopatra understood this well. She did not simply shower Mark Antony with affection, she also tormented him with unpredictability, keeping him in a state of emotional turmoil that only she could resolve. To mix pleasure with pain effectively, give and take away. Shower your target with affection and attention, then withdraw it unexpectedly. The absence of pleasure makes them crave it even more. Introduce jealousy. Subtly let them see that others desire you. This makes them work harder to secure your attention. Keep them guessing. If they feel too secure in your affections, disrupt that certainty with a hint of coldness or a sudden change in behavior. Use rejection strategically. A slight rebuff can increase desire more than constant approval. This technique must be used carefully. Too much pain can drive someone away. Just the right amount makes them cling to you desperately, always seeking the next high. The best seductions involve moments of frustration that are resolved in a flood of pleasure, making the target feel that the pain was worth enduring for the bliss that follows. Chapter 21. Give them space to fall. The pursuer is pursued. Once a target falls for you, the dynamic of seduction must shift. If you continue to chase them, the tension will fade, and they will grow complacent in your presence. Instead, you must reverse the roles, allowing them to feel as though they are the ones pursuing you. This technique plays on human psychology. People crave what is slipping away. The moment they sense that they have you completely, their interest wanes. However, when they feel you pulling back, a sense of urgency awakens within them. They begin to fear losing you, and in turn, become more aggressive in their pursuit. Lou Andrea Salome, a legendary seductress, mastered this technique with some of the most brilliant men of her era. She captivated Nietzsche and Rainer Maria Rilke by being present and then suddenly withdrawing. Her brief disappearances created a void that her suitors became desperate to fill. To use this method effectively, give before you take away. Shower them with attention, making them feel the warmth of your presence before you step back. This contrast will create a sharper sense of longing. Disappear subtly. Do not announce your retreat. Let them notice your absence on their own. Make them wonder where you are, what you are doing, and with whom. Create doubt. Introduce an element of uncertainty, perhaps by seeming preoccupied, distracted, or even mildly interested in someone else. Encourage their pursuit. Once they begin to chase, reward them with moments of attention, reinforcing the cycle of attraction. The goal is not to make them feel abandoned, but to heighten their emotional involvement. When used correctly, this technique makes the seduced feel that they must constantly work to keep your interest, deepening their attachment to you. Chapter 22. Use physical lures. Seduction is not just a mental game, it is a physical one. No matter how compelling your words or gestures, true seduction must engage the senses. Physical lures bypass the rational mind, awakening primitive desires that make resistance futile. The best seducers throughout history have understood the power of physical cues. La Belle Otero, the famous courtesan, captivated men not just with her beauty, but with the way she moved, her subtle glances, and the allure of her voice. She knew that seduction was about creating a mood, one in which the target becomes lost in the moment, unable to think clearly. To use physical lures effectively, master body language. Use posture, eye contact, and subtle touches to create tension and attraction. Control the senses. Scent, texture, and sound can all heighten desire. Choose fragrances, clothing, and tones of voice that make you unforgettable. Play with proximity. Get close enough to create electricity, then pull away just before contact happens. This builds anticipation and heightens attraction. Create an atmosphere. Lighting, music, and environment all contribute to seduction. Craft a setting that feels intimate and inviting. The true power of physical lures lies in their ability to bypass logic. When a target is drawn in by sensory stimulation, their rational defenses crumble. They stop analyzing and start feeling, making them more susceptible to your influence. Chapter 23. Master the art of the bold move. A moment will come in every seduction where hesitation can ruin everything. Your target may secretly desire you, but will not openly admit it or act upon it. This is when you must take decisive action and make a bold move. If you delay, the moment passes, and the opportunity is lost. Boldness shocks the target out of their rational mind and into the realm of emotion and passion. The suddenness of your move creates a thrill, an exhilarating feeling of being overwhelmed. Historical seducers, like Cardinal Richelieu, who turned an awkward prank into a moment of seduction, understood this principle. By striking at just the right moment, they created irresistible momentum. To master the bold move, read the signs. Look for changes in body language, mirroring, nervous laughter, or lingering eye contact. These indicate readiness. Create anticipation. Before making your move, build up tension. The target should feel as if something is about to happen, but not quite know what. Time it perfectly. Do not wait until they are fully aware of their desire. Strike while they are still uncertain but open to persuasion. Make it seem spontaneous. If your move appears calculated, it will feel forced. Instead, let it unfold naturally, as if you are both being swept away by the moment. The bold move should not be reckless, but calculated within the emotional framework you have built. It must feel inevitable, like a storm that has finally broken after building for days. If you hesitate or second guess, you lose the element of surprise and the spell weakens. When done correctly, your bold move cements their emotional commitment to you, making them feel as if they had no choice but to surrender. Chapter 24. Beware the after effects. Seduction does not end with conquest. In fact, the greatest dangers come after the target has succumbed. Once emotions have reached their peak, they often swing in the opposite direction, toward doubt, disenchantment, or even resentment. The after effects of seduction can undo all your efforts, if not carefully managed. One of the most common pitfalls is the long, drawn-out goodbye. If you attempt to ease out of the seduction slowly, insecurity and jealousy may creep in, leading to unnecessary drama. Instead, if you must end the seduction, do so swiftly and decisively. A clean break prevents lingering attachment and protects both parties from unnecessary suffering. If you intend to maintain the relationship, beware of familiarity creeping in. The spell of seduction is built on excitement, uncertainty, and longing. If the target begins to take you for granted, the fantasy will dissolve. To avoid the after effects, reignite desire. If you wish to keep the relationship alive, you must continuously re-seduce your partner, creating new tensions and releases. Use absence strategically. Periodic distance can reignite longing and prevent complacency. Control the emotional dynamic. If the target begins to feel too secure, introduce an element of unpredictability, mild jealousy, sudden coldness, or an unexpected change in routine. Know when to walk away. If a seduction has run its course, lingering too long can turn passion into resentment. Leave before the magic fades completely. Disenchantment is inevitable if you do nothing to maintain the allure. The end of a seduction should either be a dramatic, unforgettable exit, or the beginning of a deeper, more intricate game. The key is to never let the target feel they completely own you. Whether you stay or leave, they must always crave more. Conclusion: the never-ending game. Seduction is not a single act, but an ongoing process. Whether you are attracting someone new, maintaining the allure in an existing relationship, or even parting ways, the principles of seduction remain the same. Keep the target guessing. Maintain an air of mystery, and always control the emotional dynamic. True seducers understand that the game never truly ends. Each relationship, each conquest, and each goodbye is another step in mastering the art. As long as there are desires to be shaped and emotions to be stirred, seduction will remain the most powerful and intoxicating force of all. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and always aim to improve.